Welcome to the Smokers Lounge, where we smoke a lot of weed, we talk a lot of smoke. I'm your boy Los, the host with the most smoke, and today, 209 times in the building, people.
What's up, everybody?
Motec in the building, people.
With the homie Johnny as well.
With the homie Johnny over here. What's happening, Johnny?
Not much.
He said not much over here, fucking feeling it, huh? Hey, so let's talk about 209 times, bro, and the whole fucking origin of it. You know what I mean? And how the fuck that shit began. What you got a fucking, what is that?
It's a Cohiba Cuban cigar.
Big things.
So I'm just smoke on my
big things
cigar while you guys smoke on
smoke on our
smoke.
Yeah. Yep. Hell yeah. We appreciate that. Good shit, brother. So what's up? Let's talk about fucking that, 209 times and how all that shit got started.
What you remember, Johnny?
It was actually at my house.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Having a little meeting, and we just started throwing out ideas, and
Yeah.
kind of just grew from there.
Dope. And when was that, bro?
It was 2016 is when I first launched the first blog on, I believe it was Blogspot, some free blog page, and it was the first story we ever did. Well, at first it was just me. So the first story I ever did was called Wild Wild West, and it was about a shootout right there on Country Club in front of the Big Lots. Right there by the Safeway in the Big Lots. That was in February 2016. And then what Johnny's talking about is I started recruiting more people to get it more organized, get more people involved, and that's one of the meetings that he's talking about that we had at his house, to people to have more roles to play. And different people have different strengths. Some people are better at the research, and some people are better at the writing. So that was like late 2016, and going into 2017 is when it really took off.
Shit, so it wasn't like, yo, I'm going to start this Instagram page, right? You was like, yo, you thought something big because you putting people in position at that point.
Yeah, the Instagram page actually came last.
Okay.
So what's our biggest now actually came last because I didn't see the value of it at first of, because what we focus on is news.
Right.
And I didn't see the value of like Instagram playing a role in telling the news. It wasn't until later because it's a completely different format between, Facebook, Twitter,
You didn't see the
Instagram.
link yet.
Nah, I had to get I hadn't crossed that bridge of creativity yet. So, but once I did, and then we mastered it, then it just took us to an even higher level.
Yeah.
But honestly, we weren't thinking like big. We were just thinking like getting information
Right.
that the people want to get in here,
Right. The shit that, because look, you don't hear shit about Stockton on the news, man. Like, for real, like, they cover Sacramento. If you get caught jaywalking in Sacramento, bro, we gonna hear about it. You know what I mean? But fucking, you didn't hear about fucking triple homicide or anything else that's happening, right? I can't even really say that, man, because Stockton is not that bad anymore, bro. You know what I mean? But since people got cameras, like, motherfuckers just, they don't want to record good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we always remind people all the time, look, we want to celebrate the positive as well as highlight, not so much highlight the bad or negative, but it's like
The concerns,
right? Because if you don't know about the concerns, then you're not addressing them.
Right.
If you're not addressing them, they're not getting fixed.
you don't want to be blind.
Yeah, so you're just flying blind. And so what we set out to do is like, look, we're going to force a situation and we're going to make sure this shit is getting handled because, like you say, Stockton was getting ignored and getting neglected.
Yep.
And growing up in this city, living here, you see what happens every day. And it's like, well, whether it be, some homicides or some robberies or whatever, it's like, here goes some lives that were taken, and nobody's even talking about that. Like, nobody's calling a press conference trying to say, hey, we need help from the community. It's just like they get used to it. And then when I look at the statistics even deeper than that, and I look at who are the majority of those victims, majority of those victims are raza.
Right.
So it's like it's undercover racism from my viewpoint, because it's like our lives are so devalued that something tragic like that happens and it ain't even talked about. It don't even make the news headlines, and it ain't even talked about, as if it's just like whatever. So, you know, other than that, it was like, nah, we're gonna make sure that people are getting the attention they deserve, and the community is getting its needs met.
Right. That's crazy, bro. And before fucking, you know, before you thought about doing that shit, was there any fucking thing like that? Was there anybody fucking trying to fucking do some shit like that? Or you was the first one to break that barrier?
I think from what I saw, we were the first ones, and really what it came about to be was to get at the record specifically, because the record, you know, there was a big disconnect with the record. You know, you got to understand at that time, especially, it was mostly older white men that was running the show at the record. And they had the old school mentality of telling the news, of a daily news print paper. And where they started fucking off is they wanted to start getting into opinions and start talking shit, whether it be about myself or other people that I knew. And we just weren't going to have
doing
it.
Sides.
We weren't going to, they're never playing sides.
Right.
Instead of staying neutral, they were playing favorites. And so, you know, they try to assassinate my character and other people in town that were trying to do some good work. And they were trying to, like, knock us off the track. And it's like, I'm not going to have that. So it had to be a way to come about to counter what they were doing, because they had a monopoly on the news.
No, hell yeah.
In doing so, they were only telling the stories that they saw that were relevant. Right. So like the issues we talked about, they weren't going out and telling those stories.
No, they put out what they want to put out.
They put out what they wanted to put out.
I'll give you an example. I just heard this today or yesterday. So back in when they first started newspapers, right? They would write a newspaper and it'd be because they were going towards the businesses, right? Mm-hmm. And they were writing to like help them out, right? So they're making these newspapers. I'm losing my thought. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
He says it better.
It was basically like it was under the control of like political parties, and they were catering to like one side.
Yeah. And then they started like, okay, we're gonna appeal to everybody. That's when they started handing out newspapers on the street. Hey, newspaper for sale.
Right, putting out their agendas.
Yeah. And they kind of like broaden the spectrum, right? So now, what you have with the Stockton Record is who was buying newspapers? Who had the subscriptions? Who
was buying the ads? Even the ads. Who was buying the ads?
Right. That's what paid for the newspaper company, right?
Yep.
Hey, yo, so what do you think? How do you think the fucking whole social media affected the newspaper companies?
Well, the smart ones learned how to adapt. And specifically with us here in town with the record, I use social media to destroy the record.
Right.
Because
so there's a war with y'all.
Yeah.
We can just put it out there.
It was deliberate. Then. Yeah, it was deliberate. We went after their head.
Yeah.
So, you know, you look at, here we are 5 years later, and you see who won that war.
Right.
I made it to where it's not even cool to read the record. You know what I mean? It's so irrelevant now. People don't even talk about. They're like, hey, they ask, is it still around? People don't even.
I was gonna just ask about it myself. I was gonna say, yo, does anybody even still? You know what I mean? I'm not hating. I was just, you know what I mean?
We looked at it like they had some problems to get fixed, and we were bringing it to them. It was amiable at first, and then what happened was they were arrogant, and they thought that they were all that, and they thought that they didn't have to listen to the concerns of the community, and then they thought that they could play sides and start assassinating people's characters, and then ignoring the important stories that they should be telling. They weren't doing it.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we're gonna, get back at them, but at the same time, while we're doing this, it's a lot of stuff happening in our community. A lot of, Stockton is a big city, but at the same time, small cities,
Right.
small communities. So we felt like
Big at heart.
yeah, and we felt like all of the stories that were being ignored, we were gonna tell those stories, right? And again, looking at it through the lens, I come from a background. I got a degree in Chicano studies, ethnic studies. I've taught at the university level as a professor in ethnic studies, valid programs. So I always look at it as through that lens. Why is one demographic stories and needs is getting met, addressed, and told, but then everybody else's is not? And the demographics of Stockton, you understand that comes with socioeconomics, that comes with ethnic background, that comes with varying degrees of stratification, right? So it was who's going to tell the stories of the people that don't have a voice,
Right.
that can't buy those big sponsored ads into the record. They're not going to go out and do a story about a lowrider car show or about the up and coming boxers in the community because they're
Right.
coming out of the hood. And I remember specifically at the time, part of the impetus of it was the Diaz brothers, right?
Yep.
Nick and Nate Diaz are recognized and known worldwide.
Oh, absolutely.
Is
The Stockton
most known
slap.
around the world. Yeah, it's a whole martial art move named after these vatos, right? Because of our city. So because of them rather, and so the thing is, you have people that are on that high of a stage on the world, high of a level on the world stage, not getting no props in their own town from the local media. And we looked at it, well, why is that? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they're Mexican? Why? Because MMA is looked at as more a lower class sport than if it was like boxing or golf
Right.
or something like that? Because you had the homeboy that was hitting it big in golf, he was getting props.
Yep.
So why wasn't Nick and Nate Diaz getting that props?
Right.
So we looked at it like, okay, well, that's the kind of shit that we care about.
Yep.
We care about MMA. We care about,
Yep.
whatever. So we're going to start telling those stories.
Hell
And
yeah.
that's why I just blew up and took off so quick.
115,000 followers, right? Or we had more than that since you guys got here. 'Cause you guys are growing, bro.
Well, on Instagram, actually today, we just hit 135,000.
Oh, see, I fucking see just that. You guys gained another 15,000.
But on Facebook, 102,000, I believe it is, on our website, 209times.com.
Yep.
We average about 190,000 clicks a month,
Yep.
right?
And that's
So,
dope. And hey, look, let's just how out of how many motherfuckers you got right there? How many of them are haters?
Well, here's the thing. It's a lot of undercovers.
Right.
It's a lot of undercovers because
You see them too, huh?
we
It's hard to see that many.
we
You got
we got so many we can't pay attention to them no more. So I always remind people, whatever the haters are, everybody got haters if you're doing something, right?
Yep. If
Even
you're doing it right, bro, you better be hated on.
Even Jesus had haters.
Yes.
Why would we expect
boy.
haters?
Shit. Right.
But whether it was Socrates or Aristotle, whoever it was, one of them Greek philosophers, they said, a friend of all is a friend of none. So you can't try to please everybody. You
Right.
got to do what you feel is right and follow the mission that we set upon. And if some people disagreed with that, obviously, because we were attacking the status quo, the power structure, these long-held, embedded institutions that were controlling
like
the
that.
game. By nature, we created enemies.
Stepping on toes, bro.
Stepped on toes, but see, the difference is we just didn't give a fuck. And we had created a form and a formula so airtight that they couldn't fuck with it.
Yep.
And that's why we outperformed them. We blew them away. Like Johnny said, we never expected to be as big as we are.
Right.
We were just trying to get our stories out there and let certain things be revealed to the community. But it just took off, and to the point where it's at, it's like now the community is dependent upon.
And big shout out to the community for constantly sending in these videos.
See, and that happened organically.
That's crazy because now you guys don't even got. I'm not saying you ain't got to do work, but you got flooded of videos.
But
bro, to look
that's
through.
where the work comes in,
Right.
Because it's a lot of you got to sit things, you got to verify stories, you got to ask hey, where did this happen?
Yep.
Verified,
And you got a team on
Yeah.
that. team.
We got a whole squad. So we call it the 209 Times crew. Everybody plays a different role. People help manage different pages. People have different levels of involvement and responsibility. So, we just keep the trains moving. But that's a big job itself. But that happened organically, where we kind of inadvertently created this community source, community-based way of telling and reporting the news, because what was happening, we were becoming so known and so popular that people would see. To this day, we've never elicited people like, hey, send us videos. We've never done that.
Right.
But people just know, like, hey, and you know what it was? They saw the only ones telling these stories, so people would come to us and be like, look, give it to 209 Times. They'll do something with it.
No one else is going to listen.
Nobody else cares. Nobody else will listen to us.
Yeah. Right. That's crazy, bro. Nobody gave a fuck about the 209, huh?
Look, we had one of our crew members. His name is Frank. He been stuck in the Philippines for a year. You talk about you've been doing this podcast for a year. He been stuck in the Philippines for a year because of COVID. When COVID popped off, down travel, whatnot. So I mean, he's stuck on a beach, so it ain't a bad place to be stuck in.
Right.
But
stuck. That's where you won't be stuck at.
That's a great example.
A beach in a liquor store.
He had come forward. That's how we became. And he was saying, look, there's some stuff going on with the sheriff, and he had a law enforcement background. You know, he was a legit source.
That's some inside information.
Vetted. He had inside information. He had documentation, and he was like, look, I'm taking this to the record. I'm taking it to Channel 3, 13, call Curtis, you name it. And then Curtis didn't give a fuck, right? Didn't give a fuck. And this was some serious shit to deal with, and it was just like so much that he had no other outlet to go to. So he came to me, and I created the platform to where now you have a microphone to broadcast it to, so that the community could start hearing about what's going on.
Right.
And within a year and a half, the sheriff lost his re-election. He got exposed. Mainstream media from the Bay Area had to come in and start telling that story to piggyback off of what we were doing. And he got exposed for all kind of dirty things like, cutting hands off cadavers to do the fingerprinting. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just wheel the body over there, desecrating bodies, trying to cover up. There was a Mexican man who got killed by the Stockton police, just like George Floyd.
Right.
He got
never heard about it.
He Cordova.
Right.
And don't nobody know about it. That's why it's so funny to me when I see people that think that they're like activists and woke, and like you see these politicians here in town, and they'll be like, "Oh, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor," and it's like, cool, we got to support that. Let's make sure that people receive justice. But you got the same exact scenario right here in Stockton.
Yeah.
And you don't even know their names, and you ain't even talking about getting them justice. So, he was killed by the Stockton police in the same fashion, or similar, because he was asphyxiated to death. And the medical examiner ruled it a homicide. And the medical examiner, he's not just some fly-by-night guy. This is Dr. Bennett Amalu, who is the movie Concussion, I believe it's called, that Will Smith plays his character in a major motion picture, right?
Don't hear about it.
The sheriff comes in and overturns that and says, no, you need to make that say it's an accident.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, there you go, trying to play the system and trying to make sure our people ain't getting in jail. So,
unpaid fucking news sources, bro. You know what I mean? They don't like people that's able to go in there and fucking present the real.
And that's the thing, too. We don't charge no money to the community. We do this as a community service. And that was in part because it's like, look, it's just like a hobby to us. This is what we just like to do.
Right.
But it was also strategic where I was like, look, I'm going to undercut the record and I'm going to hit them where it counts financially. Yeah. Because if people can come to me, get the news for free.
Right. Why the fuck they need to pay for that? Why you going to go
pay for a $10 a month subscription? Man, I just seen today they paid a sponsor talking about 98 cents for 6 months for the record. That's how much their prices have dropped.
Damn, bro.
So, people can say
they was killing the game then, because fucking if they dropped to 98 cents, bro, and they still able to make profit on it, fuck, get the hell out of here.
So when they were charging $9.99, But that's the thing. They had right now they got a 98 cents for 6 months staff.
Yeah.
Right. Back then they had a $9.99 a month staff.
Right.
And people can say, oh, it's the industry, but nobody can say around here was affected as much as the record was.
Right.
Because nobody else has somebody going to war with them like the record did. And ever since then, they've laid off like 90% of their staff. They've had to shut down their printing press for like the first time in over 100 years. They had to start outsourcing the printing. They had to move out of their office, downgrade to a room closet, whatever they call.
Damn.
You know, so they got played, and they learned a lesson. So they used to be antagonistic, and now they don't want no funk.
Right.
So they're just trying to coexist at this point. But like you say, with creating enemies, now people are trying to come after us, target us, and on a national scene to try to accuse us of like, oh, misinformation and blah, blah, blah. It's like, we don't care about none of that because as long as the community got love for us.
And it's not like you guys are out there fucking taking, like, videotaping shit and editing shit. This is getting sent into you from the community.
It's raw.
And all you're doing is presenting it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fucking does anybody, like, because, you know, you guys get a lot of hate. I see the hate, right? You know, people want to know, like, fucking, do they ever post anything good? You know what I'm saying? And, like, shit like that, bro. How's that make you feel?
We don't, like I said, we don't really care because people can hate all they want.
That's crazy, though, huh?
But 240,000 people love us, though.
Right.
So you could be the 5, 10, 20 haters. You could be 500 haters. But we got 240 love us.
Right. And that's what's important, right?
We can't get distracted by the haters because at the beginning of this, that's how it started, was by, you know, equaling the playing field with the haters that were in positions of power.
Yeah.
And most of them got removed. So it's like if you were like a sheriff or a mayor and you were a hater and now you're no longer in your job, you think we care about some fair on the street? Like, nah.
Right.
We don't.
That's right. Hey, 209 Times, right? Where'd you get the name? Like, was it because I was like, man, like, and there's like, that's a perfect source because I'm like thinking Times, right? That's like New York.
Or the LA Times.
Or the LA Times. Is that how you
go or wherever Times.
Right.
So what the story behind the name is, it was the most generic name I could think of.
Right. Simple and plain.
When I created the blog, because, see, a lot of this I used to do, I've been an activist for a long time since I was young, since I was 17 years old. And I was already doing a lot of this on my personal Facebook page. And people were recommending, they were like, you should really start a blog. And I was resistant to that because I never thought of myself as being a blogger.
Right.
Like, you know, to me, that was just like some nerd.
Didn't even know how to do
stuff.
it, huh?
and I didn't really care to learn. And so, but I saw the necessity to do it because I understood with my own personal Facebook network, it's limited by how many friends I had. And you only got like a 5,000 max on Facebook. And then on top of that, half of the people that are my friends, they don't even live in Stockton, don't care about Stockton. So it was like, I want to separate my personal friendship page to business of Stockton. I'm going to keep that separate. And so
it's important to do that, bro.
It is.
I mean, look, because, you know, when you start from the bottom and you get your way to the top and you're on top, you lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even the close ones, bro, that you thought that was fucking close type shit, right?
At least one of those.
Yeah, see? Let's talk about the motherfucker, man. Let's talk about the motherfucker. No.
But we don't even got to irrelevant now.
209 Times in the building, y'all.
So, yeah, 209 Times, it was really the most generic name I could think of, and it was just as a placeholder because I was like, what am I going to call it? But I wanted to start this blog, and I was like, you know what? 209, it was for two reasons. It was generic, that anybody could just hear it and be like, oh, okay, I can relate. And the reason why I called it 209 and not just Stockton or something like that is because my vision is to basically do what we do from the whole northern Central
limit
Valley,
yourself.
From Lodi to Merced.
Yeah.
We want to have a lot on the whole northern Central Valley because I looked at it like this. If there's corruption and you know, abuse going on in institutions and positions of power here in Stockton, then I know it's happening in Desto. I know it's happening in Turlock. I know it's happening in Merced, Ceres. So I was like, ain't nobody gonna be who their stories.
Right.
So I looked at it like I'm not gonna limit myself to just Stockton, because the same way I'm trying to empower and my team is trying to empower this community, we understood like, okay, we got to think beyond just our boundaries, because it's the whole, what we have in common in the Central Valley is these problems. We could go across the hill to the Bay. They got a whole different set of circumstances, right? More down south, it's a whole different ball game. Yep. But here in the Central Valley, we're a lot of us have the same situation that these communities are struggling and facing.
Well, I mean, if you're in the 209, you know somebody in Merced. You got family everywhere, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you're in the 209, you about the 209, bro. It's not just Stockton and shit, bro. You know what I mean? I can walk in Modesto, bro. I can walk anywhere, bro, and be comfortable in the 209.
And that's the thing about and that's the thing about our crew. We got people, the homies from Modesto. We got people from Tracy, from Lodi. Like, we're not all from Stockton.
Got you a squad.
We got a strong squad, and so everybody, Merced, everybody bring perspective, connections with them to say, hey, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on there. Now, obviously, we're the most active with Stockton because Stockton just got so much shit going on.
Yeah.
But
big time though.
But we're trying to,
and there's a lot of good going on out here, bro.
There is, and that's why we also try to focus on that and remind people, like, look, we also want to celebrate the local celebrities, the success stories. Like I said, part of the impetus starting it was like feeling that Nick and Nate Diaz weren't getting enough props. So it's like we want to be telling those stories. Like, oh man, check this out. Like, they got a fight coming up. Like, when he beat Conor McGregor, that shit was legendary right there, right?
Shit's crazy, bro.
The record didn't give him no props like that. Nah. The mayor at the time, he didn't. No. If I was the mayor, I would have been like, look,
you only seen it on Instagram.
You get the parade, you get the key to the city, like
Sports Center.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But not
it, but you can't even catch it.
Yeah,
on town,
right?
And so that I feel like, whether it be them or other celebrities like Chris Isaac and other people that have left, it's because that you could tell, like
Brandon Leaks, like you ain't even really, you know what I'm saying?
It was just like real quick.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So
that's crazy.
I wanted to make sure that they get more props of what they should. And again, we saw the disconnect with the people who were in charge of the media. The reason why they weren't props, they weren't doing it to hate. They were just didn't see the value because they couldn't relate.
Right. They couldn't relate. That's what because it was the old white people still running the game.
And we love our old white people. We ain't here to hate on old white people,
sure.
But I'm just saying. But that ain't all of Stockton, and that ain't all of.
We so diverse out here, bro. There's Asians, Mexicans, blacks, whites, so much out here, bro. Most diverse city in Northern California, in
the whole country.
No, we really are, bro. Yeah. Stockton's known for that.
You can find anything here.
Yeah,
it's like Sacramento.
The trip about Stockton, bro, is that back in the days when gold mining was still going on in fucking Colombia and shit like that, Stockton used to be the Vegas before Vegas.
Yeah.
This is where everybody would fucking their horses and hit the salons, get their hookers, bro, drink their drinks, rest up for the night before they hit that hill to gold mine.
And that's where the smart ones was making their money because people weren't making the money gold mining anymore.
Got to know your history on Stockton, boy.
I actually worked on a house on Park Street at the cross street, but it's a historical landmark, and they had a basement where they used to do all the gambling.
Is that right?
Fucking like a speakeasy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nice.
Yeah,
see the same thing in Prohibition era too. Stockton was known as having a speakeasy. Like there's tunnels all under downtown Stockton that were operating as just full-fledged casinos.
And we got a bigger port than Oakland.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Stockton.
I don't know if we're bigger than Oakland, but I know we're the biggest inland.
It's the biggest inland
port.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. Thank you for the correction. I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail on that.
We just keep it an checking. That way nobody accuses us of misinformation.
You get a lot of that.
Because we'll have the haters, they'll miss the whole show what we talked about. They'll pick up that one part and be like, look at 209 times. They said They said Stockton was bigger than Oakland. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Right. And you didn't say that. Yeah.
That's how they operate, man.
It's a trip, huh? How people dissect videos. Like they'll fuck around and miss the whole scene and be like, yo, but did you see the floor though? They don't even vacuum. Yeah. I'm like, yo, the dude just beat the shit out of her with the bat, bro, and you're looking at the floor. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. You get a lot of the crazy shit, bro. The comments is the craziest shit.
Look, just say real quick.
Comments is the
craziest shit.
If I put my headset down,
yeah.
They're gonna echo.
No.
I need to step out for a minute.
Yeah, you good.
That's the funniest thing is man, what was I saying? I got distracted.
Oh shit. I was talking about fucking the comments and how people fucking.
Okay, yeah. So for the audience at home, if you're new to 209 Times, or even if you follow on the website, because you can subscribe on our website.
Tell them where it's at.
209times.com or on Facebook, but Instagram. The comment section on Instagram, just that alone is worth having a whole Instagram account.
Yeah, bro.
Just to
it's
read
fucking hilarious, bro.
Man, it's just off the hook. It's like it takes on a whole life of its own.
And these are all Stockton people, or 9 people
Yeah.
that follow you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people. I noticed that everybody that follows you is from here. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of comedians, bro.
We do.
Yeah. We have a lot of comedians.
They get creative. So you can, like, that's just a major source of, like, stress relief or entertainment, just reading the comment section sometimes.
Yeah, that shit's funny as fuck, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I was going through your shit. I was like, this shit is fucking hilarious, bro. Crazy shit.
You know, sometimes we it's rare, but sometimes we got to shut off the comment section if, let's for instance, do things like runaway kids or missing, you know, people or something like that. And people like to get judgmental and start talking about, oh, she probably doing this and doing that. But it's like, look, that's, first of all, that's irrelevant because this is a 15-year-old we talking about and she's missing from her family. Like, worry about that other shit later, or don't try to be Inspector Gadget figuring out why she, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes people get disrespectful and, you know, we got to just shut it down because it's just too much to manage. You know, there's only a small crew of us. It's impossible for us to. And
I'm sure that fucking
manage
creates
all the
tension
comments.
inside. Like some shit gets you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you know,
if you into it,
we address the haters as best we can. But like I said, we just try to provide a community service and keep everybody informed and empower our community as best as we can. And whether it's letting you know that the sheriff is corrupt in 2018, Steve Moore, or if it's letting you know, like, look, this mayor, he's getting celebrated all over town, you know, the former mayor Tubbs, but he ain't doing shit for Stockton, so the truth got to be told. So whether it's that or we're letting you know, like, hey, don't drive this way because there's a big accident.
Right. Or there's a checkpoint. No, but
we did that like a couple of times, and like, man, that just created like a whole problem on itself.
I bet, bro. I bet, because you got both sides of the fence, shit, bro. You know what I mean? And it's hard to do shit like that. And so, one of the things I wanted to see if you wanted to address is, you on some of your recent posts, you have some missing people that still. And I don't know if you wanted to address that and put the names out there and stuff like. I'm not.
I don't recall the names that come to mind, but I just tell people, like, you know, scroll on our page, look around. It's
this shit's serious, man.
It's serious business out here, and there's a lot of challenges and a lot of danger out here, and dangerous individuals in dangerous situations, and we got to celebrate where we live, but at the same time, we have to acknowledge the reality of the predicament we find ourselves in so that we can address it and make it better.
Yeah. Motec in the motherfucking building, y'all. Fucking appreciate you, bro. You got shout outs or what?
Man, want to shout out the Smokers Lounge, you know what I'm saying?
Thank we got it, y'all. 209 Times shouting us out.
Thank you for bringing us on. You know, we appreciate what you're doing, and this is part of us. You know, we like to show love, and that's one of the things that's different than us. You're not gonna see people from the Record, the Channel 13,
right? We bypassing that shit.
Going, you know what I mean?
They're
not gonna go out to the Vadio and go kick it in a studio and kick it on a Smokers Lounge and talk about their right. So we want to make sure that we always stay rooted.
Yep.
And even though we have found a lot of success, we do have a lot of followers. We are the biggest influencer in this region on social media. We don't want to lose our roots to understand why did we get started, who do we serve as far as like us wanting to empower our people, right, and inform and make our community safer.
Yep.
We try to keep it rooted and show love to other people doing positive things in our community, and make sure that you guys get attention as well as we keep people informed too.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. 209 times. Y'all be doing your motherfucking thing, man. There's a lot to come from y'all. This is just the beginning. Well, kind of like, right? This is still the beginning, brother.
Yeah, we just turned, 5 years old?
Yeah.
Yep.
5 years old, man. And you guys are located here in Stockton.
Yeah, we
Stockton
all,
representatives, 209 representatives.
Yeah, and shout out to the homie Frank that he's stuck in the Philippines right now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Shout out to Frank. Patricia, Brenda, Marie. Jay. A lot more people that we got on that they're not here right now. But
Yeah.
that's what people a lot of times they don't realize. There is a crew behind this. There is a lot of work that goes into it.
A lot of shit behind the scenes, bro.
There's a lot of dedication. All of us got day jobs.
Yeah.
We're so effective in what we do. We see these wild conspiracy theories come out that, oh man, they got to be funded by millions of dollars and they're part of some like black hand that's controlling them. And we're like, it's just me and Johnny and a couple of
hell yeah. And you know what? And that's important. Something you just said right now, bro. And I think it's important. Everybody take it in and soak it in for a minute. Everybody still got day jobs, bro.
Yeah.
Don't quit your jobs. You know what I mean? And I mean, chase your dreams. Yep. Definitely chase your dreams. You know what I'm saying? But you still need that day job. You know what I'm saying? You work to, you work. What they say? You work to hustle. You hustle to what? You work to hustle. You fucking grind to fucking shine or what?
What's the sense of working hard if you never get to play?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, you got to enjoy the shit, man. But fucking, especially in Stockton, man, keep your fucking day job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, don't do what you're doing, but the day jobs, man. And still grind, man. Because motherfuckers right now, everybody's wanting to quit their shit. You know what I mean? And like, and start their own companies. And I'm not saying don't do that. Do that. I'm with that shit. But you still need some income, man. You
still gotta pay the PG&E.
You still need to pay that PG&E. And if everybody fucking their jobs to do that shit, like, bro, I think we're gonna be in trouble. You know what I mean?
Somebody gotta make the coffee when we go.
That's funny, man.
So that's the thing is this for us is like a hobby for us.
Yeah.
We do it out of love. We do it out of passion, like Johnny said, and we just love what we do, and we got love for our community.
Yep.
And we've had a major impact, changed the game since we came around to the point where it's like, it's to the point where even if we just try to quit, I don't think people would even let us. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, yo, what happened?
Hey, yo, it's a trip. Stockton shows up.
They do.
Stockton shows up, bro. Out of the whole 209, I've been to some of these events and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking, and like these motherfuckers show up, bro. You know what I mean? I'm working with a group of fucking individuals that is fucking actually, they're putting on for Stockton, man. Big shout out to Dave, Big Dave, 209, gloves up, guns down. You know what I mean? Fonzo. Right. You know what I mean? Out here, fucking David Monroe. These motherfuckers out here making an impact, brother.
Yeah. And see, that's what we want to celebrate. So every time they got an event, look, put us down as a sponsor. We'll help promote it. Yeah. Like, we'll make sure people know.
And the city comes out, bro. You see that shit?
People come through. Because it's like 209 times because it's feeling that's already there.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what's good to see. Like average people stepping up.
Yep.
Like you say, keep your day job. That's 100%. But at the same time, it's like, look, the average everyday person can get involved at any given time.
Yep. And it's simple.
It's 24 hours in a day, so you could do a lot more than what you think you can.
Yep.
And you don't gotta have, ain't no lightning bolt gonna come out and just like ordain you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what comes out of your heart. If you got it in your heart and you want to step up, you just make it happen.
Yeah. And you just do it.
Just do it.
You just do it, bro. That's all it is you just do it, bro. You just gotta put that foot forward. Yep. And you gotta be surrounded by good individuals. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick your team
That's
wisely,
important.
bro.
That's important.
If everybody around you is A+, then you A+.
Yeah.
You know that.
That's real.
You know what I mean? Big shout out to you, Motec in the motherfucking building. 209 times, Johnny. Appreciate y'all, man. 209 times. We appreciate you guys for popping in, man. Fucking, we love what you guys are doing. Nothing. I can't wait to see more great things coming from you guys. You know what I mean?
Thank you for the invite.
Man, fuck. Appreciate you coming in here. Make sure you following 209 times on Instagram. Where else they following you, brother?
My personal IG is Motec Uzoma _ Sanchez. Just type in Motec, it'll come up.
And it's look at down there at the bottom, 209 times. Right there. There it is, right there. There's his IG right there sitting at the bottom.
So
Yeah,
we got to get on that level.
Yeah.
We still learning.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start having our YouTube studio coming up pretty soon and start getting into our original plan is having like more video interviews and stuff like that.
Yep. We appreciate you, man. Make sure you guys are following them on Instagram and all their platforms. They're doing amazing things out here in the 209. You know what I mean? Make sure you're following me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Notifications is a must. This is the Smokers Lounge, and we out this bitch.
Peace.